Hey, let's get into it. Don't let this stop you from traveling the world. There's a couple of things I'm hearing from people. First of all, not knowing the language. Don't let this stop you. The first time I went to Europe, I hired a private tutor in California to learn Spanish. Then, when I got to Barcelona, hi Jake, thanks for coming over. When I got to Barcelona and tried to speak, hi Owen, didn't understand me because that wasn't how they spoke Spanish. So I stumbled along. Hi, Gabriel. Thanks for coming over. I'm talking about don't be, don't let these certain things stop you, like not knowing the language. Um, I didn't know one word of Nepali when I went to Nepal for the first time. Maybe I learned about 20 words in the 6 times that I went there to visit, and I'm not talking just a couple of weeks. Extending my visa into months for Nepal for the 6 times I visited. In India, most people speak English, but a lot do speak Hindi, so I learned a little bit, but mainly it's gone because I haven't been back for a while. I did go to India 6 times. So, hi, Gabriel. Don't let the language thing stop you. With Google Translate, which I didn't have when I visited India, in most of the 34 countries that I've gone to solo without knowing the language. Now, I never expected people to know English. So you have to go into it with the knowledge that learn how to pantomime, which you're going to get very good at, and learn 10, 15, 20 words. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to learn Italian right now. This will be my 8th trip to Italy next month. I should be fluent by now, but it takes a lot of practice. Actually, you learn more when you're in the uncomfortable situation of trying to talk to people. And I've got to tell you, Sicilians and Southern Italians are so nice. If you speak any Italian whatsoever, as bad as it sounds, they don't care. They're happy that you're trying. Okay. So that's one thing. The next thing I'm hearing people be apprehensive about is this: where to stay. Okay, I'm going to give you some tricks that I didn't have when I first started traveling because Google Maps wasn't invented. Hi, Jake. Nice that you came over. Thank you. Okay, so now what I do, and it's evolved over the 20 years I've been traveling. And this is what I do now. I used to travel with very little itinerary, not booking anything ahead of time, landing in a new city. And if I'd been there before, I would just go to the neighborhood that was comfortable for me. And then I would find a place without booking anything beforehand because I like to see the place. Okay, I'm not doing that in Europe. I'm booking things ahead of time. Now I know people there. Where you can come from. This is some tips that I've learned about booking accommodation. My favorite booking site is booking.com. And the reason is I like it way more than Airbnb because you can't pinpoint the location on Airbnb and you don't get an address and there's less all the extra taxes and stuff, I think they've changed it, but it ends up being more expensive than you think. So what I do is I book most of my stuff on Booking, and then I filter the reviews. Little known fact, you can filter the reviews. You can set the price at what you want it to be, because of course they're going to give you the highest option first with the highest reviews. So what you can do is just set your budget. Like I've noticed couples, of course, can spend more on their accommodation per night because they've got 2 incomes or they just have a higher amount of money they can spend for 2 people. So for a solo person, I know what I can spend and I put that in. And if it's over that, then I just don't get it because I slow travel and I don't want to come back with high credit card bills. And I am a working person. So when I get back, I do some work on my trips too, and I lead photography retreats. You're invited to apply for the next one in Paris, in the heart of the Champagne region, which is the last week of October for 2026. So I'll have the link below. So here's what I do for accommodation. I filter the reviews to what the price and what's important to me. What's important to me is quiet, Wi-Fi, a good bed. Everybody that complains about tiny bathrooms in Europe, that's how they are. It's pretty unusual to get a big bathroom there. Not so common to have an elevator. If it's important to you, put that in. And I also have stayed in hotels in Paris with elevators because I like to be on a higher floor. So if you don't want to carry up your luggage, you're going to need an elevator. So you put in the things that are important to you in that filter, and then those accommodations pop up. Then what I like about booking is then you can take the address and put it into Google Maps and find out where it is in relation to everything you want to do. The metro stops, the restaurants, the hotels, everything. Hi, Henry. Thanks for coming over. And so once you have a place that you can feel good about, and then another thing about booking is that you can do a location reviews and people will say, oh, it was kind of sketchy, or I loved this place because it was close to bars and restaurants and a metro stop. I mean, for me, traveling by myself in Europe, I like to have, and I don't rent cars. I did it once in Spain and I'm never doing it again. Unless someone else is driving, I'm happy to pay, but I'm not going to drive. And I did that last time with my friend from Florence. She did all the driving. That's way too much stress for me. So I always take trains. I'm doing an epic 1,900-mile train trip, a 3-week trip, starting in Paris and ending in Sicily. I'm so excited about it. I've been wanting to do this for a while, stopping in Venice, French Riviera first, Venice, Lecce, and then Sicily. So very, very happy about that. It took a lot of planning, but I can help you if you want to do something like that too. The trains are super safe, and it's so fun to watch everything go by. So those are the 3 things people are concerned about: the accommodation, not knowing the language, and how they're going to get around. So those are the 3 things that can be addressed if you've never traveled by yourself before. I would try Europe first. Don't do what I did and go to Asia, India, Nepal, all those places, because those are way more challenging. It did make me a good traveler, and I am very resilient and resourceful after 20 years of going to 34 countries. But I wouldn't recommend doing that first. I think the best thing to do is to go to Europe first because it's very easy. The transportation is connected to the centers of town. Generally, you can get off at a train station and be around good restaurants and accommodation that isn't in the high tourist areas, so they're charging double, and you can find the prices that you need to pay. So I wanted to jump on and encourage people to travel for 2026 by setting your budget, choosing a country that goes with the budget. There's way more low cost ways to travel the world than how you may have done it before. I mean, I'm one of those people. I used to travel in the 1990s only taking luxury trips where I'm spending like $1,000 a day. I was in raising my son. I was married for 20 years. It was a completely different style of traveling. Now, it was fun, and I'm glad that we did that. But when I discovered, my son taught me actually, because he's been to 55 countries. I've only been to 34. He went to Asia before I did and asked me to come and join him for a visit. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for coming over. I'm just talking about things to not stop you Don't let these things stop you not knowing the language, not knowing where to stay, and not knowing how you're going to get around. Those seem to be the three biggest things that I'm hearing from people in my social media, from my consulting for itineraries. So I'm a professional photographer. I'm based in Silicon Valley is one of my home bases. I spend the most amount of base time here in Silicon Valley. I have good connections here, and I do my photography here. I do my teaching here. And I also do private retreats in Italy, France, and Mexico. And my Italy one in Sicily is full for February, but you can certainly join me to apply for the Paris Champagne Region Photography Retreat. Oh, hi, bathrobe guy. Love to see you over here. Hi, Robes. I'm happy you joined. Thank you. So I'm just talking about the things to not let you stop you from traveling. Peace and meta. Peace and meta to you too. Thanks for coming over. So those are the three things. And I was just talking about leading my photography retreats in Italy, France, and Mexico. You're invited to apply if you want to come. Very small, only 4 to 6 people. The one I'm leading in Sicily in February is 4 people. And it's a lot of one-on-one hands-on guidance and fun. So you'll enjoy it. I have video testimony too. Hi, Life, test me. Thanks for coming over. So don't let I mean, I've been to 34 countries, and I would say I never expect people to know English, but you can say a lot in pantomime. It's really funny. I mean, it's really true. The body language I've read by somewhere a body language that it's like 85 or 90% of what a person is saying is conveyed through their body language, not what they say, which I think is fascinating. So then with that information, if somebody is listening and watching your body language, and a lot of people do this, I think subconsciously, you're going to be able to convey a lot of information. Although, you should learn, I've found that it's really helpful to learn 10 to 20 words of a language where I'm going to that country, and I'm not going to expect people, I mean, I never expect people to know English, but I was pleasantly surprised in France this past trip because I spent more time in France last January. And guess what? I would try to speak my French, which is not good. And guess what most of them would say politely? We can speak English. And they didn't say it in a mean tone of voice. I would so appreciate that. And they knew English. And I would say 90% of people would say, oh, I need to practice my English more. So this isn't what you hear about French people. It's a myth that France has people that expects you to know French. They know it's not an easy language to learn. And see, the young people, I spoke to a lot of young people, and they actually told me it was the older people that thought that, not the young people at all. And their English is exceptionally good. So that was a big surprise for me because I would need to ask, is that the train I'm going on? Sometimes, I could get confused. I hope your disability claim comes in because you can do it on that. Southeast Asia, really, I've spent a lot of time there. India, very affordable. Those 2 places, you could live on $1,000 a month there. So costs are quite low. The value is pretty high for what you get, housing, food. The only thing is if you start overspending on things that are imported and, like wine, you can't get wine in Thailand for a decent price. And I'm used to that now living in California and going to Europe where I expect to buy a glass of wine or a bottle of wine because I do a lot of my own cooking in my apartments that I rent in Europe. because the food is exceptionally good and I immediately get more healthy. My fingernails are white and glowing and fingertips and my hair looks good. I mean, it's amazing. So I spend 3 months there every year and have traveled expensively extensively in Southeast Asia. So you can do it, and I don't want you to feel that if you don't know the language, that's going to stop you in any country, really. But it is good to get your pantomime skills down. You'll learn how to do that with practice and learn 10 to 20, 30 words of the language before you go. And you can learn all of this on YouTube. I mean, I'm practicing every night. I've done some of the other, like I've done Babbel, and I I feel like there's a different way I need to learn. And so the thing about YouTube that's good is there's all these different channels on um I'm working on learning Italian. Some of it's conversational, some of it's word vocabulary, others are like what kind of conversations will you have? Like I'm thinking, okay, my friends who pick me up in Sicily and bring me to the apartment they own that I rent, what am I going to want to say to them? So I'm going to practice that. Because sometimes one of them knows English better than the other one, and I actually don't want to leave the one that doesn't know it as well out. So I want to speak Italian with her as much as I can. And see, that's the fun. See, the thing about solo travel, if you travel with somebody that knows the language a lot better than you, it's not so great for you. And I've done this in many countries I've been with, well, at least 4 or 5. Another person who knows the language, and then you get left out of the conversation because you feel kind of like, well, what are they saying? Like, do you have to interpret every single thing? Now, I guess with Google Translate, you can kind of control that a little bit. But if you're feeling like you're butting into their conversation, it's better to just struggle on your own. I mean, it's nice to have somebody that knows, but in the end, I think it's better to not, to just learn by immersing yourself, letting yourself feel vulnerable and awkward. It's okay. We all have to learn. And that's how you remember. And most of the time, people are pretty nice about it. I would say they're the nicest spot in Europe that I've visited has been southern Italy for not knowing the language. And in France, too, was good. Because, well, they wanted to switch to English because they wanted to understand me. What I was saying, in southern Italy, a lot of people don't know English, but appreciate that you're trying to speak the language. So don't let that stop you. And then I've given you some tips on where to find a place to stay, because with all of the great stuff we have now, Google Maps, Booking.com, you can locate a place that you can read reviews on that feel good to you. Now, if you ever get to the place and you're like, oh, this feels so sketchy, then you're going to have to change it, because I don't think anything is worth going up to your place alone when it's dark and feeling like, oh, is somebody hiding in the bushes? I mean, I don't, I don't want to feel that. So you do want to be super careful about where you stay. And then the cool thing about Booking is that you can say, I'm a solo traveler, and then sift the reviews for being a solo traveler, even for what season you're going in. Now, I like to stay in historic locations that are walkable to everything. I've stayed in enough places way the hell out on the edge of town where I had to rent a car or be so far away from everything that it just didn't make sense. I rented a car once in Grand Cayman that I think you have to drive on the other side of the road, and I almost got in a serious accident. And somehow I saved myself at the last minute by doing something in the car that stopped it. But it was super scary. But I wasn't connected to anything way out there in this timeshare that was like, there's nothing out here. So it's like, no. Okay, so it's mainly the transportation, where you're going to stay, and being afraid that you don't know the language. All of those things we covered. So I'll have the link below if you want to get in touch for a one-on-one, because I can change your life in an hour and get you going. I've helped other people. I've got video testimony, and I've also got a lot of testimony on my Google business page. And I also, one more thing is, if you want to apply for the Paris and Champagne photography retreat in the last week of October, I'll have that link too. And it's super fun. It's a very small group, 4 to 6 people. And hey, come on over and subscribe, because I just hit 1,201 free subscribers. Some people have become paid. If you want to do, I do a weekly video just for my specials on more of the nitty gritty of how to do this, what to look for. And you can also ask me questions in there. So thanks for coming over. I appreciated all of you there, and I hope that you can all start traveling in 2026 or sooner. And I'll see you down the road.